Can Gibbs be the sabotage that NRG needs to win this series? We're about to find out here. I don't know. I honestly, I don't think G2 needs any help. After the way they looked in the last series, the momentum they have coming into series number 3, they are poised for an appearance in the grand finals.
And there we go. Now you can hear me. I think that.
Whoa!
I think G2 just needs to keep getting Dree shooting opportunities, and NRG, when it comes down to the offensive side of things, I think all they have to do is just slightly change pace of play on their approach, and I think they're going to find a little more opportunities if they can throw the G2 off the scent a little bit on defense.
Whereas Drees just cranking another one to the goal, as has been his bread and butter this series. Here's Chicago with more pressure. G2 forcing NRG to stay honest on the goal line. And Garrett G gonna give him a taste of their own medicine, just cranks it down, says, hey, you left the back open. Appreciate it.
And it's Garrett G starting off, and he went out. He wasn't quiet. He played well the last series, but he certainly wasn't the way we saw in the very first series of this set. He has come alive here with the long range shot, catching out G2, like I said, giving a taste of their own medicine. That's what G2's been doing a lot to NRG, finding those gaps downfield, especially past the third man. And NRG starting off on the right foot.
Garrett G a long way down the field. Justin demolished. Will spawn on the back line and leave space for Squishy to move up and take control. He and Garrett G going to tag team this ball into the backboard, and Garrett G will land while JNaps and Drees get the ball back to midfield. Squishy now. Out of the box, off the wall, uncontested. Chicago will get it off his own backboard, but Garrett G's there to punish, and it goes straight to Chicago.
Wow.
Follow from Justin.
What?
Pinball between Drees and Chicago. You're kidding. Finally, Squishy will find the back. Oh, they had to work so hard for that one.
Oh, wow. What a sequence for both teams there. I mean, a couple of big blocks from G2, some solid shots from NRG, but definitely not placed perfectly, and hold on tight, but G2 couldn't just keep the grip. Slipped off right at the end. Too many people able to cycle through, and NRG break him down.
And it was a good idea from JNaps there to try and get it away and use his teammate to get out, but Garrett just jumped all over it and shut that down immediately. It led to the goal. Good work there from NRG, now up 2-0.
Drees off the wall. Justin to follow it. Showing off his third Octane combo of the day. Man of many outfits as Chicago will punish not the best of clears and make it a 1-goal game.
Oh, definitely not, as this one just came down from the roof and nobody there.
What a touch.
So you were right, Wave. It wasn't the best clear because there wasn't one.
It's disgusting.
Beautiful.
JNaps, that touch is disgusting. I mean, what?
I'm throwing up in my mouth just a little bit thinking about it.
It was gross.
I need a shower, man.
He said it was disgusting. You know? There's Justin off the wall. Drees into the corner. It's JNaps. Follow this to the outside, and Squishy will try to challenge. G2 doing a good job in the midfield, taking control of challenges. There's more pressure from Drees. Chicago now in the midfield as Justin takes him slow to the outside. JNaps and Chicago both moving back into goal, and Chicago will get there, but JNaps jumps as well. Now here's Squishy to try and put pressure on the overcommitted G2 defense.
See, right there when you see Squishy coming in out of the midfield is where I really think you need to see a different type of touch from NRG, because that strong touch towards the backboard just hasn't paid too many dividends against the G2 defense when NRG's been pushing. I think you need to take that one, hit it off the ceiling like G2's been doing. You've seen JNaps do it a couple times, drop it right back down into the middle. Give that shooter the space to size up the defense.
There's Squishy. Off the midfield, and Garrett G's just going to try and win the drag race. Gets to the corner. Doesn't make contact. Squishy to the backboard. Trying to set up Justin here. Justin will pick up the touch from Chicago, but can't gain control after the initial catch. And Chicago now looking for the dribbles on Garrett G. Pinch off to the corner.
Don't think he got the flick he wanted there, but still opportunity here for G2. If Drees can get back to what he does. Almost gets a piece of Squishy. He doesn't get the best clear, but he does get by the first man in G2. And maybe even the last man here. Squishy has options. You can't get by Chicago in the end.
Oh, off the crossbar. JNaps putting pressure on him. Now J-Naps again towards the goal. Drees reaching for it. What a drop. Garrett G with the stop on him. Oh, and he gets the second block on Chicago. Garrett G, a wall on defense.
Huge block from Garrett G. Justin was scared there, rotating back towards the goal line. He did not have faith that Garrett G was going to pull out the massive double save. Way to keep the lead intact, but still needing to hold off G2 here.
The outside, 1 minute left. And G2 still pressuring in the back third. Squishy versus Chicago. Lofted high. No challengers. There's finally Justin up against J-Naps. They'll play it to the corner. Chicago rotating in from an awkward direction. It's up to Drees now in goal, and he just cranks it. 41 seconds left. G2 trailing by 1. They've got to stay on offense here. And there's some pressure into 2. The defenders still get the ball, and Garrett G emerges with control. Pops dangerously, but Justin's already up for it. Uses all of his boost to push it across the midfield line. The ball barely skimming over his hood. Squishy denies on the goal line. The infield pass, not enough. Here's round 2. Blocked again by Justin. Garrett G now to push it away. And what a hold from NRG. Chicago trying to take control in the final 15 seconds, but they cannot break this back line.
It might not be over. G2 might have one more opportunity. Chicago is coming out to him, and Squishy doesn't get a good clear, but he gets help from Justin, and now Drees got boost to work with. Can he get over 1? He can't get by Garrett. It'll be up to Chicago to see if G2 can get another chance. Now Drees will play it towards the net, but NRG all over. That's a great kill from Garrett. And the general NRG take the first game.
How do they look so composed after that one? They just put the controller down, picked up a glass of water, and I was like, oh my goodness, do you guys realize what defense you guys just played for like 1 minute and 30 seconds? That was terrifying.
you know you're a professional when. Like, yep, nope, that's our job. What are you talking about? That's
oh my gosh.
We kept the goals out. 2 saves apiece. Good job, everybody. Glad to see everyone's carrying a bit of the weight here. As Squishy will take the MVP from that game. But the monster saves. I want to go back and just break down that defensive stand. Such just brilliant plays, one after another.
It was dicey though. I mean, it wasn't pretty for most of it, but NRG just barely holding on in a lot of those situations, and it came off of a lot of balls being popped up into the air. And something that I was going to point out into that final minute was NRG seems quite comfortable actually with having G2 play above their box. A lot of the touches that G2 are having are not directly on target, so NRG aren't as threatened by it. Certainly they have to have someone there to challenge, but a lot of it isn't directly onto the frame. So G2, I feel like they have to be a little bit more direct with some of these shots, because NRG are happy to see G2 play across and over their net a lot of times.
Well, you can afford to do that, I think, because you have a defender like Justin, who, as I alluded to, I think he's one of the greatest goal line defenders in the game at the moment. It's because he's so good at reading a bounce right before it's going to happen. So he tends to get a pretty early jump on a lot of those balls going across when they bounce off the wall like that. And that's why I think they're so comfortable with that, because they know they've got such a great contingency plan. Of course, all of them are strong defenders in their own right, but when it comes down to you need to get someone up and early to go and block a challenge, a shot, and just get a challenge on it or take it away out to safety, you pretty much always rely on Justin to be that guy first in most cases.
Oh,
here's Chicago with pressure. Justin up for it, but blocked the double tap as the shot was wide, and will bounce back out. Here comes Drees for round 2. Over the top of 1, looking for the double tap. Misses the touch, but the follow-up is good. J-Naps will push it through for goal number 1.
It was kind of weak, wasn't it? How did NRG not get back to this?
Kind of tongue-tied, right? I mean, Justin initially goes to block the double tap from Drees, right? So he jumps, but he doesn't realize that Garrett G gets the bump on Drees, so Justin needs to recover. And by the time his wheels touch the ground, the ball's already by him, and it's just it's like opening the Russian nesting doll of like, oh wait, what else is coming next? Is there one more or not?
There's another one. So it's kind of what it feels like. So NRG, again, kind of picking up right where they left off in that last game. Their defense very, very suspect at the moment, and that's credit to G2, but definitely might lose a few years if you're NRG fans.
You might. They're able to deny plenty on the goal line there in game 1, but still not the place you want to be having to play the last minute defense here. Justin and Garrett G have been both going for the same ball in this game. Yeah, repeatedly here, and there's an opening again. Just free jump there, and just completely dead. 2-0 G2.
Yeah, that's a pass, Corelli.
Yeah, 100%. Oh,
Even
Chicago.
Chicago's giggling. He's like, I hit the post, guys. I did it again.
That's a calculated pass. Justin was beat. He backflipped, and that was such a great touch off the back wall in all seriousness to Chicago. Unfortunate that he didn't put away on the first touch, but bailed out by the post, I suppose, in the end. He's there to clean it all up. Oh, what a shot.
Wow. What a shot is right. Perfect timing there from Squishy as he sees that clear from JNaps and jumped up early, read that bounce so quick before it even came out. And that's quite a strike from Squishy Muffins. My goodness.
That's a lot harder to do than it looked, and he made that look really easy. Getting the right pace, the right timing on that ball. Very easy to put that one directly lateral from him at a 90-degree angle.
Quality.
3:13 on the clock. Squishy getting the scoring started here for NRG. Now back on defense. Garrett G through one. Squishy demolished in net. JNaps trying to pass to Chicago, but Justin will be there first. Now Garrett G trying to loft for this. Has to back off as he's communicated to him that Chicago's already there. Squishy winning another one. Drees demolished. Justin holds onto this ball. Nice flick past one. JNaps, though, able to beat Garrett G to the ball. And constantly trading touches here. G2 struggling in the midfield now with a nice touch there from NRG again. And a bump on Garrett G should open the back door, but Squishy able to rush back in. Now Justin looking for the flip reset to try. Get another crazy solo goal here up against Chicago and JNaps.
I think it's kind of an interesting problem NRG running into right now when they get that ball past the midfield line. They realize that they need to change pace of play, but they also don't really get themselves the best chance at it. Just kidding. No. Wait, he put it off the wall? Oh, no.
And achieves to kind of piggyback on the point that you're about to lead into. It feels like that's another chance that NRG have let go. And we've talked about that a couple times, and it hasn't come back to bite them too much. But maybe a double demo might open things up.
Nah.
They gave him so much space.
Another double demo.
Wow. Drees all alone. Does the demolitions create enough, just everybody on G2 having to reset with comms instead of just being able to read rotation since there aren't any? That might give them more opportunities here, but no. G2 emerge with some control, pushed across the midfield line.
Oh my.
Line one, Chicago.
I tell you, man, you watch Drees play offense. Dangerous. I mean, he's been hit or miss on some defensive sequences, but I think you get that guy in an offensive setup, I don't think you'd find a better guy to fit into this G2 roster. That guy's lethal as he's going to drill the top right corner.
And he's a shooter, too. Like, he knows how to close out the play. And these shots that we're seeing from him are just spot on. That is so hard to get to if you're the last man. And Squishy knew all the way that Drees was going to smack that one on target. Squishy knew what was coming. He just couldn't get there in time.
The speed Drees is hitting at as well. It's consistently 70 plus here. It's off the wall. JNaps bumped Chicago. Having to rotate out here as Garrett G tries to take control, but Drees will take it away from him. With 55 seconds left, NRG down by 2. Got to get to work right now. As more pressure comes in, let's make it down by 3. Chicago punishes.
Oh boy, you can't really blame Garrett G. He's heading across the net there because he's hoping that Justin isn't going to get bumped by G2 and he's going to be able to get that clear, right? But realizes a little too late that's not going to be the case. Little gap for Chicago in game 2, done and dusted. Gonna go back to another tied series. We have never seen that before between these guys, ever.
No, never. Whoever wins game 1 just sweeps every time. No, it's been such a close series. And yeah, and the same story every series as well. Like, okay, cool, this team's looking really good in game number 1 here. I don't know what the other team's gonna do, and then the other team's like, we're gonna win game 2. What are you talking about?
And that's kind of the beauty of when the best of the best go up against each other, right? Because you're the best, obviously, because you play the game really well, but you also adapt to the game really well. And both teams have done a good job of changing things up game to game, series to series. And you've seen, I mean, we've had 1 to 3 games that have looked different from a separate 1 to 3 games, right? Between the series. It just, It's been so different for these teams, and they've done a good job of reading each other. This time, G2 certainly have the better read on NRG.
Look at this shot.
Justin not even given the courtesy of making the save, right? Like, it's just, nope, still just going to roll right into the net with 3 seconds left. Too bad.
A stretch across 5-1. G2, the score was, I've been keeping track of overall goals in the series. Before this game, 29-30, 1 goal differential in favor of G2. This one going to blow it open a little bit wider here now, 35-30. G2 with quite the momentum. It's not a full momentum swing given that they lost the last game, but still. The other thing that I feel like G2's got in their back pocket is even if this game goes to overtime, of the 5 overtimes we've had in this series, they've won 4 of them. Yeah. G2 playing clutch in golden goal scenarios.
And you look at that stat line right there as well, even apart from, golden goal scenario and all of that. I mean, you saw the massive demo slider, right? Like, that was 8 demos to 2 for NRG. Not able to capitalize on any of them. I feel like, as soon as you saw Justin hit that ball off the backboard when he had not necessarily an open net, but pretty much most of the net to choose from, you just pop it off the wall, and it's that's kind of where you took it away from NRG. It's all right, you definitely needed to convert that one if you wanted to feel like you were going to come in and keep this one tight. And pretty much from that point on, G2 never gave the game back.
Yeah, no, I mean, Curly, it felt to me that NRG in the second half of that game was struggling just to even get across the midfield line.
Yeah. That was exactly what I was about to say. It just felt like NRG struggled a lot. And, they have set the table. They have served the food multiple times, but nobody is eating on NRG at the moment. Nobody has picked up the fork and ate anything. It has been a beautiful placemat, but just nobody is able to put it away. And, multiple opportunities left on the table.
It just feels like, NRG is always that team that as soon as one person makes a massive play that sets them off, they all instantly refocus, right? So if you get one big play from one player, I would not be surprised to see NRG go on a tear and just take a game in stunning fashion.
Chicago with the dribble in the midfield, flicks over one, and then wins a secondary challenge to put it back into the box. Neither of his teammates advance, but they'll hold on to control still, nonetheless, in the midfield. The first 30 seconds have been all G2. Oh. Sniping the passing lane. NRG gave themselves a moment on offense. Double demolition. And the demos reign in supreme again. Dries put the pressure on, gets a double commit out of him, but it's all low to the ground, so Garrett G will hold on to control and flick Chicago.
There you go. And that does a great adjustment there from Chicago. Earlier on in this match, you saw Chicago give up that space to Squishy a couple times, and the NRG was converting it. Right there in the midfield, wheeled right back around, instantly went for it, took away the chance. Dries has got the ball back, and yeah, of course he scored it. How could he not?
Man. He just doesn't miss, and he fires away. Justin in net, backwards on the near post, and he actually turned out towards the far post, and Dries still hit it near post above his head.
It's actually a disgusting shot, to be quite honest. I mean, he's got to come outside the ball, air rolled the opposite way, spike it with the wheel, and Justin's just got to... That's his only chance to try and backflip that one out because he's not positioned to hit it out cleanly. So, I mean, Dries just with a beautiful placed shot in just the right spot.
Man, Dries' accuracy. If I had to take one thing out of this series, and this is a series where we've seen Garrett G scoring some of the most insane goals I've ever seen. I feel like if you're I can take one thing with me even to my own Rocket League play, Dries' accuracy is that thing right now. It's clinical. So consistent. Clinical is exactly the word. And it's reliable. It's fast. And NRG genuinely, every time he's got a ball, he has that opportunity, has to really think the situation through to make sure they get the save. And here comes the follow-up on the other side. Garrett G picking up a shot out of the corner to tie the game.
And this one kind of comes off of Dries never challenging here. That's fine, but there was no one here to follow up on the play off the back wall. And I think that's what Dries was counting on by not just going into a poor tackle backwards. So he let that ball come off the back wall, but nobody from G2 was in position to challenge the next play. Good strike from Garrett to find the hole in the G2 defense there, and we're tied up.
It felt like it needed it too for NRG. it's not going to go unnoticed that Dries is absolutely picking them apart on defense, and they gotta feel like they're still in a game because they know that a lot of their chances have come at a premium in terms of time required and effort required to even get a quality setup so far. A strong departure from the first series.
JNAPS to Dries, but Garrett G will intercept this time. JNAPS now with control again, and Dries turns looking for a second chance. They'll bump Justin into the corner, and here comes Chicago shooting at the far post. It's wide. That leaves space for Garrett G to move up. Looking for the dunk on Dries to the side wall. Squishy above the goal. Chicago follows it. No follow-up there from NRG. Justin now onto the side wall. Has Squishy at midfield. Tries to get it past Dries and does so. Now up against Chicago, just going for the slow play. Back pass to Garrett G, who has to quickly turn for this. And JNAPS will challenge him, just trying to put pressure on this NRG back line.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's in.
Free
goal.
Don't steal it. Don't steal it. Yeah. Squishy was thinking about it.
And this one was a tough read for Dries. It came clean off the back wall, but it was deceiving on who was positioned from the NRG side to get that, and Dries just a little too far back to go after that one. Garrett knew it, and a good touch past Dries onto the G2 target gives NRG the lead.
That's a great point, though. I think it is actually real easy there for Dries to lose track of who can actually go and get that, right? Because you see that pop off the wall, and you're looking up, and you're not thinking about the corner that Garrett G's parked in and him just hopping up and going to get it. So a little bit of tunnel vision. G2 looking to find a way back in, just over a minute.
Justin versus JNAPS. JNAPS will win the challenge to Dries now in the corner. What a shot placement, and JNAPS there for the security on the save. Tie game.
What a dish from Dries. Oh my goodness. Just scoop it off the wall. Squishy, that's actually a great touch from Squishy, to be honest. I mean, JNAPS is just right on top of it. That's a great follow-up from JNAPS.
Yeah, there's just nothing he could do. And for Dries, that was a fantastic pass right away, but this one's going to go off the post, and Justin's going to get it off the kickoff. That one getting a little bit of help from the woodwork. Oh, my.
What a great replay.
That,
What a great Smoke playing a little havoc on you.
Yeah. Couldn't even see what happened.
Yeah, I think that smoke threw off JNAPS as well. It's tough when it's right in front of your face like that. Tough to see exactly what's going to happen, even if you can see everyone, all the moving parts.
More pressure here. G2 trying to get a kickout goal of their own. Pressure continues. Now Squishy to a solitary backfielder.
Oh my days.
This one dropping dangerous. Garrett G will get it straight to Dries, who puts it into the corner for once. Now JNAPS with a clear. 30 seconds remaining, though. NRG in a hard-fought and awkwardly scored a completely open net, but Chicago's got to turn on this one to gain control. And Squishy will have time to get back into position. There's a pass out. Dries up for it to the backboard. He's going to have to get some more help, though, because Squishy clears it to the outside. Now JNAPS in front, into the corner. Justin across the net. 5 seconds left. Dries not able to make contact. Chicago in his own corner. The ball's moving the wrong way for G2. Keep it alive here. Dries down the field. Chicago's just got to get it to Dries. There's one player in the way. They're causing chaos, and he'll just take the shot himself. NRG off the one, working out. No way. NRG survive.
Go for it.
What's more shocking there, the save or the double commit from NRG? Yeah. I don't know why they were sending two in the final seconds like that. You know G2's waiting for that one to drop down. And that was almost perfectly executed. And oh man, what a save from Garrett to keep NRG in this one.
Corelli, what did you say? I don't think it matters what team that you're cheering for. This one's definitely taking a few years off.
Yeah. It certainly is. I mean, especially with plays like that. It's just so close. Everyone having to just ice up there right at the end. What a save.
That's the fascinating part about Rocket League, right? It's like, oh, okay, NRG forced G2 to bring it out of their own half at 0 seconds. It's fine. And then you just see this weird double commit, and you kind of just switch into a different mindset. You're like, oh, now they've done it.
Yeah.
And you just have to sit there and watch, like, oh dear gosh, what's about to happen?
Can they pull it off the other way? And I mean, and then the decision there from NRG or from G2 to hold onto the ball on top of the hood, be like, yep, let's just wait for the linemen. Let's not pump it down the field. I know I can dribble this down and take the shot there, but both Chicago and JNAP's given props to Garrett G on the save there at the end. Sportsmanship from these teams. This has been quite the duel. And of course, Achieves, I mean, it's not like we've ever seen this before where the games just alternate in the first 3 games.
Never. Not
consistent.
Once. I think it's gone the other way each time though, right? So I think in the first series, NRG won game 1, G2 won game 2 and 3, and then NRG won. And then in the second series, it was flip-flop. But either way,
here it's alternating.
Yes, we found something to talk about in terms of who won a game, I guess.
Man, back and forth, so evenly matched. And here comes NRG. Oh, Squishy will be there to finish it off. Look at Squishy stick around after this pass for the security.
Jeez. This one, it's about as good as you could hope for from G2, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's Chicago. That's a good effort to give it, but the post is not his friend in shooting or defending, it would seem.
We really needed just half a second more to get back to that. Chicago was positioned to get back to it on the ground had he had the time, but good work there from NRG to crash the net. Here comes G2. Chicago actually gets bumped. Loses the ball. Dries, can he put something together here? Yeah, Chicago on the far side. Chicago can't get around to it. He actually backflips instead, and NRG get out.
Squishy off the wall. The outside Chicago's there to meet it and sends it back into the box. Garrett G with a long one down the field. No, I think nobody's home. They're all falling back, and Justin's going to try and hit the shot. Man, I've seen that angle from Justin before. Trying to drop back down. There's Garrett G alone in this backfield. Giving his time to get set up. Now JNAPS will try to pressure the lack of clears from NRG. Dree's happy to dribble. He's got Chicago to pass to. Try to get it around Squishy, but honestly, Garrett G with a fake on one and then a roll past the other. Gets demolished, but not before he puts it into the G2 corner.
It's good work from Garrett. Throwing a couple fakes, and I think G2 know how well Garrett's been performing. Certainly giving him the benefit of the doubt on a lot of these touches. Still only good to the G2 corner. Here comes JNAP. Dree's up as well, but cut out by Justin.
Chicago gets a bumper onto the ball, but then gets bumped off it, and Garrett G will try to take control. Into the corner. JNAPS to Dries. To the NRG corner now. And JNAPS with a miss. Ball will neutralize.
Ooh, Chicago had JNAPS on the far side there if he had gotten there. Good defense from NRG, especially with the amount of time that G2 has spent in the NRG side there in that attack. Felt like G2 were slowly getting a handle on things, and we're going to set up a passing play, which they were there from Chicago to JNAPS. NRG certainly learning from their past mistakes, but right now feeling more of that pressure. Dries trying to force the issue here. Comes JNAPS. At least play it off the back himself. Still NRG holding on.
And the pace is so quick on defense for NRG. I mean, G2 making a lot of strong touches on the ball, and it's making it very difficult for NRG to bring the ball down, change pace of play, and really hang on to it. And that's the value of always getting those nice, strong touches towards the defensive half. It makes it that much harder for them to change it up. And a little handoff in midair, tipped away. NRG going to hang on to the slim lead.
There's Garrett G in the corner. 2 players underneath him, Chicago and net. Going to Chicago to connect with the ball. On to JNAPS. Garrett G with a response. Dries and JNAPS both lightly commit to that. And Justin now to try and put pressure on this net. Touch could have been a little bit stronger and would have been goal number 2, but doing what he can. Now Squishy with a banger of a clear. Dries has to push it to his own corner. NRG looking for match point here in the 3rd series. This is the final one. You've been with us since game number 1 of Series 1. It's a best of 3 series. Each series a best of 7.
Long road to get to this point.
Ugh.
And really kind of back and forth here in the last couple minutes. It really hasn't, nothing's been super big, but here comes Squishy. That one off the back wall. Here comes again Square with the light shot. Justin Neal put it away. Double up the lead. NRG on top.
Oh, Garrett G. I mean, this is actually, don't get it twisted. Garrett G needs to score that, but thankfully he's got Justin right there to finish the job for him. So that's actually a huge goal. NRG 2-goal lead now. I mean, you can give anybody a chance at any game with 0 seconds on the clock and 1 to find, but 2 is a lot to ask with how well NRG's been defending here.
We'll see if they can hold on. Anything can happen. 1 goal can change everything. Squishy, chase this down. Now Garrett G to turn, give the ball back to Squishy. And it'll be Justin actually who moves in from the backfield, and Squishy rotates out. 30 seconds left. Chicago to the wall. Both of his team members in the midfield, and Squishy will clear through them both. Justin looks for the security and puts it off the wall. 20 seconds left. This one going the full distance. Drees looking for bumps. Jams as well. And Garrett G flicked it over to Chicago. And honestly, that one might do it. Here's Chicago. Garrett G with a second flick. Drees past 1, but Squishy continues to push into the G2 half. And the time will slowly tick down and secure this one. NRG on match point in game 4. The earliest we've seen match point. This is the big change in the series. Can they finish it off in the next 3 games?
I suspect the timeout here by G2, certainly going into a match point, but maybe not. Okay, timeout G2. There we go. So there will be a timeout, and I don't blame him for that. Obviously, this is probably the most obvious spot you would take a timeout if you were to do it. And for G2, probably a good idea. Things are getting a little bit out of hand now. NRG certainly taking advantage of some G2 mistakes. I just think that G2, the game plan that they've been playing with for the last few games, even going into the last series, is just not working at the moment. I think NRG have thrown some chaos into this game that has made it so that G2 can't execute as cleanly as they have been maybe in previous games.
It's the keep them at arm's length. I actually think that G2 held a lot of pressure in that game. It didn't really manifest in terms of shots, but they were absolutely trying to pour it on there in the corners with the fast pace of play and forcing NRG to make strong, consistent, and solid touches on defense that didn't put them in any compromising positions, where they didn't get too divey and pull somebody out of position. They had to play a tight game defensively to keep G2 at bay there in that one. That was definitely a lot to ask, and NRG handled it well. And to break out on a couple of opportunities and find a goal back the other way was icing on the cake.
I think you bring up a good point that the corner play from NRG was super clean here in game 4, and we saw G2 consistently trying to play the ball out of the corner there, finding a way to get the ball out of the sides of the field, out of the side lanes in the midfield area, rather than having to use the back third to do that. Could really change things back up for G2 here in game 5.
Well, the center of the pitch is where you find a lot of options, right?
Right.
That's really where you can generate a lot of great chances, because you can left, right, top, bottom, off the wall. It doesn't make a difference. And you're absolutely right. Getting the ball into the middle of the pitch, always a quality opportunity chance when your shooter can pick the direction they want that shot to go. It's a lot tougher for a defense to read, and you're absolutely right. If G2 find a way, get that ball out into the middle, NRG is going to have one more thing to think about on defense if you have a repeat of the previous game. But that being said, NRG got 3 games to work with here.
They do have a good amount of buffer space, but honestly, at this point, I don't care. I've seen plenty of teams completely burn that in the last 3 days. So we'll see what happens here as they nearly find the first goal. Oh, pass back across. Chicago will keep it in the corner, and all 3 players from G2 bunched up on top of each other, but the pinball will pinch in their favor. And Garrett G will have to take his time controlling this at midfield.
Oh, he almost landed on it. If he landed on it, that one was going at least on target. I don't know how G2 would have reacted to that, but Garrett, very dangerous there coming off the ceiling.
With a heavy-hearted sigh and a face palm, and then you just pick the controller back up.
Well, and I'm sure it's not the best feeling to be on match point, to be on series point, to be on set point.
Oh,
and okay, there you go.
It's the best feeling in the world.
It's the best feeling in the world to go up 1-0. Wow.
Chicago here out of the corner. He's got Squishy dead to right. Squishy just can't find the best of players. He's the only player on his own back line. JNaps has an open net to shoot at. 1-0, G2.
No, I'm curious what G2 talked about in their timeout, right? Do you think Jazzo went in there and was just like, you know what, we actually played a good game there, we just didn't convert our chances, or if he's like, no, we need to do something completely different?
You have no idea. We could shoot in the dark all day. I have a suspicion, though, that talk was probably a lot more serious and a lot more pointed towards particular problems than maybe, timeouts in the past. Because every time that they've taken a timeout before, or either team has taken a timeout before, we're like, you know what, both teams are still playing really well. But I think with that slide dropping all of these games to NRG, there's got to be a little bit more of a pointed talk towards what exactly is happening. So it's probably a lot more serious in that meeting than timeouts past.
I feel like G2 at the beginning of the series did a good job with our brief analysis of get the ball out of the corners more and bring it up the center of the field. The last minute or so has kind of returned back to that corner dump strategy. There, this pinch going dangerous. JNaps will chase it down into the corner. The out to midfield looking for Chicago. Now Drees Squishy trying to read this clear. He's got one touch on it. Couldn't find the second. Justin's touch. Oh, this is dangerous. Here comes Drees with a banger. Justin off the backboard. What a save.
Wow. Massive recovery save there from Justin. I mean, gonna be in the one-on-one with a guy flat-footed, and we've seen how that situation has gone many times already in this series. Big takeaway there from Justin to keep the deficit to 1, but G2 still picking up right where they left off from the previous game. I mean, they're pushing NRG back consistently.
NRG don't even have a shot right now. That'd be the first one, as Garrett does put a decent one on target. Here it comes again. That one just too short off the post or off the back wall. And the first couple attempts from NRG are dangerous, but fruitless.
Garrett on the wall. Drees now. Come chase us down in the long shot from Squishy. We've seen him go for it time and time again, and G2's like, we finally learned our lesson. We left the player back. Go away. On the back wall, Garrett G to chase it down, jumps it into the box, but Drees rotating into the third man. And NRG starting to adopt the just put the ball on target strategy. And G2's feeling the heat.
It's a good one, but got to hold on to that pressure. That's the hard part. And look at Drees cut one down in the midfield and put that pressure right back on NRG. That's a beautiful touch from JNaps. And again, there's Justin, reads those bounces off the wall so quickly. That early jump, keeping G2 again at arm's length.
Squishy over 1, Chicago now with a response. Final minute of game 5. NRG yet to score in the first of their 3 attempts. Drees putting it high, and Justin to chase this down. Long clear. Squishy to try and move after it. Wins one dunk. Garrett G off the wall. Is Justin here? He moves into the corner, and the soft touch will be easy for Drees in Chicago to deal with. But Justin falls back in, gives it past 2 of them. Garrett G to chase it down. He's got JNaps alone in the net. He's got Squishy to work with. Squishy to try and close on this one. Back past 2. Drees will get there. Justin puts it off.
Oh, no, he missed.
Bumps JNaps and Squishy and Garrett G. Can they rotate back around? The pressure building. And oh no, JNaps getting it past Chicago. And now Garrett G to Justin, and it was only a matter of time. Tie game with 19 seconds left to go.
Oh, man. And what a fiesta here on the G2 side. And it's good work from NRG. They were moving the ball around, taking advantage of every misstep that G2 had. And a lot of it is because of Garrett working his way across the net and in the air to keep that ball awkward and keep that ball dangerous.
Garrett G and company managed to keep the ball in front of them the whole time. Didn't matter what G2 did. Well, with 7 seconds left, we're tied up at 1 apiece. We've played 5 overtimes in this series, and NRG has won 80% of them. They might be able to dodge one here if they can put it in 0 seconds, but no, looks like it will fall. 6th overtime of the series. Can NRG win it all right now?
Deep breath, everybody. This could be a long one.
Well, maybe not. This one. Think back to just the recent major. They had a 10-minute and 20-second overtime between these two teams.
Drees off the wall. Squishy and Justin. And their half as Drees tries to dribble it. Squishy will get it away. The G2 have dominated this 30 seconds. This pinch goes back to the midfield, and there's Drees again, looking for Chicago. And Garrett G, up on the front line defense, finally finds a way into the orange. Immediately countered by JNABs, back to Chicago, and it's up to Justin in the goal. Gets it away enough. Here comes Drees. Squishy will get it past him. JNABs catches in the midfield. G2 just suffocating anything that NRG is trying to do, consistently pushing it back, and Justin will finally slow things down, try to bait somebody in, and can't win the challenge.
It's a great choice, though, from Justin.
Yeah.
There's no need to try and force the instant transition. You haven't had the time to really get your feet set. Nobody really has a lot of boost to feel confident pushing up, so just take the little stutter step. Squishy! Oh, no! Unlucky.
Make it 5 for 6. G2 can't lose in overtime.
The second time they demo Squishy and then rip a shot on target, and on the spawn, Squishy gets a touch on it, but just not good enough. He just can't get there in time, and you can't blame him. But good work from G2 to again capitalize on these opportunities when they're up a man. They can just rip one on target.
G2 survive again and again. And at this point, I'm starting to think NRG has to win in regulation. It's again, they win the overtime. We go to game 6. That was game 1 of the 3 match points NRG gets, and G2 survive.
Well played from G2 again. I like that it was pretty much the same game, right? The only thing that fell apart was, you know, that 40 to 20 second stretch where NRG just seemed to find every good touch on offense to set up the equalizer, but that was pretty much a copy-paste game from G2 from the previous one, I thought, where they really just pressed and pressed and pressed. And NRG, again, played a solid game, but this time around, they just didn't quite have the same effect on transition and able to convert some of those chances. So NRG's got it kind of back against the wall, I think. You might have 2 looks at this one, but that's 2 games where you've really just been stuck against the wall with not much room to work with.
And they still have a timeout, too. So if things, you know, get out of hand, especially in this game, if G2 runs over them, I think NRG get a good opportunity to reset themselves. But I doubt that will happen. We haven't seen too much of that here in any of the series that we've seen today from this set. So we'll see how NRG comes out. Their chance to take down this very stingy G2 team. And for G2, then they're just trying to hang on and get to this match point.
Justin airborne. Squishy to put pressure on JNABs here, looking for the double tap. Misses the ball. Garrett G now to the goal. Squishy putting more pressure on. Back across the net again, but no shot.
Surprised G2 wasn't able to find a touch on that one. As
Did you see
seeming to find clean contact?
Into a top on top of the ball. That was wild.
He's playing too much snow day, you know, trying to get the ground on top of the ball.
And it doesn't work as well here. Justin across to Squishy. Over top of Chicago and then behind JNAPS. Trying to leave space for Drees. A bit of miscommunication here from G2, and Justin will take advantage of the given space. One of 50-50 against Drees, or goes neutral to the side. And Squishy to slow things down. Like Garrett G gets set up on defense, but one touch will get it past him, and now Justin to midfield. It's lucky Drees didn't get better contact, and he's still got control in the corner. There's Squishy.
Unfortunate pinch to Squishy to bail out NRG here. And G2, again, kind of doing more of the same. That's a double commit, though. This could be dangerous. Justin getting a second touch as well. Drees having to buy some time. And he does well to at least let Chicago get back. G2 do avert tragedy, but only for the moment. Justin with a flip reset, looking for another one. And he gets a second touch. And an easy save for Drees.
JNAPS keeps this ball nice and high, and it'll connect with Chicago near the ceiling. Chicago looking for the double tap, and it's past Justin. What a play. End zone to end zone.
What a play is right. Justin was thinking, okay, I can get up and try and take away, but he realized as soon as he jumped that, nope, I have to just play this one from the floor and see where Chicago hits it. Well, the answer is away from you, good sir. Get out of the way.
I would like you to not touch the ball, Justin. Thank you very much. Chicago, more pressure. As G2 win the overtime and then take the first goal of game 6. There comes Drees. Garrett G past 1. Squishy taking advantage of given space. JNAPS and Chicago both backwards as he gets past JNaps, but Chicago flips past the ball. Drees closes on it. Critical stop. Here at halftime of Game 6.
NRG losing some of these boosts in the midfield, kind of hampering their ability to continue to press on G2. Thankfully, they're finding long clears to try and reset the game, but that battle for possession has gone spotty at best.
Last one. Drees across the midfield line. And stops for the boost. Garrett G will pick up control. And a miss from JNaps as well. Leaves Chicago on the back line. They'll win the challenge enough to give the ball to JNaps, then back to Chicago, but Squishy will tackle him out right in front of the goal and then go for the counterattack here to Justin. Blocked by one. Garrett G thinks about it, but 2 players in front. He knows he just can't collapse on that ball. 1:48 left to go. NRG with a decent opportunity that falls apart in the box.
That was almost a very scary counterattack there from G2. Chicago was on the back wall looking for the pass. NRG happy to see their last man jump in front of that. Here's JNaps. A little bit of time, a little bit of space. That one flicked up and over. Drees backflips on the far side. G2 still in the lead, but they would love to have a cushion. NRG blasted downfield.
Lucky that wasn't
cleared
in.
away.
They weren't going to reach that.
Justin down. Oh, pass 2. Drees looking for Chicago. 1:09 on the clock, and G2 with everything they need to force Game 7. Can they hold on?
Oh, boy.
Justin now with air dribble over 1 to the backboard up against JNaps and pitches, and Garrett G will push it in to tie the game.
You knew as soon as you saw Justin with that extra space there at that midfield that the air dribble was going to be a good option, and Drees, solid challenge. But the command from Justin to take it that extra couple inches higher to go right over him, and Garrett G, confidence all the way. He's like, just let Justin drop it down to me. It's coming one way or the other.
Oh, that's in! Oh, Chicago gets back and makes the save. Dead center of the net. Justin put the ultimate pressure on G2, and they hold. 47 seconds left, and now looking for pressure on the other end. Drees sends a shot to Squishy. Clears it away. 40 seconds left. Dabs to the wall with Justin to meet him. Alton trying to get it past Chicago, but no. It's across the NRG goal. Drees in the third man will take to the skies. 30 seconds remaining. Blocking Justin. Garrett G lofted into the midfield. Chicago to the other side where Drees is waiting. 20 seconds left as JNaps sends to the backboard. Justin's there. Neither player make contact. It's over the top of the double commit, or the stacked up players of G2. They push it into the box. Justin with the block. 10 seconds left across the goal. Drees to the outside. Garrett G trying to take control as JNaps is pressuring for one last opportunity here. It's through the back line, but we go to overtime. Can NRG finally take it away in a golden goal?
They're going to need to. G2 not going down without a fight. You talked about it, Wave. They've only dropped one overtime here in all of the games that we've played here today. And they're looking to take another one, threatening off the back wall. Garrett doesn't have a perfect handle on it. Chicago running circles around him to just get the ball back.
Oh, Justin past Drees. It's up to JNaps. He gets a monster clear. Squishy with a response. Justin's airborne. He beats Drees to the ball. Tries to connect back to Squishy, but it's over Squishy's head, and he'll just close for a 50-50. And now onto the backboard.
Ooh.
Drees. Back down. NRG 1 goal away from the grand finals.
I think the most important thing for NRG here on defense, because I'm expecting them to get pushed back on defense again, it's going to be height on those clears. If they get any of them coming off that wall and they're driving down, then they're going to put themselves in bad spots.
There's Justin. The third man stop. This ball staying high. Here comes Drees, but Garrett G will cover it up and does loft the ball well. Now Squishy are keeping the ball high on their attempted clears, but they're starting high as well, which kind of changes that equation. Now the back pass, Chicago to the corner. It's JNaps to the backboard. And it'll be Squishy to push it away. Drees having to rotate out. The Chicago in the midfield runs into Garrett G. Garrett G to chase this one.
Oh, what a pass.
And here comes the shot from Justin onto the backboard. Drees to cover up Garrett G. 1:35 into overtime. And Squishy trying to end the series right here, right now, across 2 defenders. Chicago gets all of it.
G2 holding on, but these clears are not clearing over that last man. This was pitching towards net. It goes in for Garrett off the pitch, and NRG finally take down G2.
advance to the grand finals over the North American champs.
Wow. You gotta say it like it is. That is devastating for G2. I mean, you honestly played a phenomenal match here. You couldn't ask for anything better. I mean, the last time these guys played, the only reason G2 ended up losing was Dries kind of cracked in that final game. This time, he was solid through in and all the way throughout. And unfortunately, it just came to the wild pinch from the sidewall. Wow.
This series has got to be one of the best series that North America has maybe almost ever had. I mean, this was a phenomenal display of talent here between these two teams. No matter the storylines, both these teams look so good. And what an entertaining way to finish off the day.
What an entertaining way indeed. We said that it had the potential to go all 21 games. We went to 19. It's pretty good there. And NRG though does finally take away an overtime, or it takes away an overtime there at the end there to beat G2. The final goal tally 40-38, G2's favor. Such a close series. If you missed any of the games, definitely go back and watch them again. But we've got NRG in the grand finals. Let's send it back to Leaf and the boys to break it down.
Yeah, that is quite the way to end it. Even though I was on the side of NRG, I still kind of wanted G2 to win that one there. So it just go to the, like, why not? You know,
Oh man,
we've gotten this far. We may as well, Subi. Like, it was just that was a really good series.
I mean, we warned everyone, strap in. This is going to be a series. And boy, was it ever. We got one for the record books in more ways than one. But NRG just too dominant. And in the end, too composed to give up their back line.
They were so good. I mean, and so was G2. G2 fought so hard. Honestly, the level of shots they were putting on, the offense, everything was in form here for G2. And it came down to the wire. Like Wave said, we almost had a whole 21 games played here. It just shows you the level these teams were playing at.
And 150-50 challenge to end it there. And sometimes that's how it goes. But G2 played 10 overtimes throughout this tournament. They only lost twice, and that happened right at the end to end their season. But if we even go back to game 3, 0 seconds on the clock, Garrett G makes an incredible save, so NRG wins that game. There's so many small moments that led to this win, and like NRG, they had to battle. There is no doubt about that. G2 looked fantastic throughout. This is the best series we've seen all week long, probably all year long as well. So G2, hold your head high.
Yeah, no, I think. Well, quick question before I move on here is, Gibbs, do you think this is a good thing for, like, do you think G2 walks away saying, you know what, we're happy, or maybe a little sad that they know they got that close?
No, they absolutely have to be happy, because going into spring split, they're bringing in Dries, who just turned 15, and a lot of people are thinking they're not going to make top 6 at that point because they have to get him into form. And now instead they make top 4. They take the #1 seed all the way to 19 games to battle, and Dries has just gotten better and better and better. So I can't wait to see him after an off season. If they do keep him, G2 is going to be in those power rankings, probably top 2.
G2 walking away again with a phenomenal performance and end to their season here, but they are out. The winners were NRG, and to talk about their victory and their journey into grand finals here, Garrett G is joining us on the line. Garrett G, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
You looked a little stressed out at the end there.
I'm tired, dude. I feel like, I don't know, bro. I don't have any energy left. I need a coffee or something. I don't know, man. That was intense, but that was fun. I was saying at the end, that was probably the most stressful match I've ever played, like ever, because there was so much time to think about what you could change. It wasn't just like, you know, some series, you go to game 7 stressful. That whole, but beyond series 1, like, was so stressful to me. But I'm glad we won.
Wow. So even more than back all the way in season 5 when you played Dignitas on that bracket reset where you guys had to just wait around for 15 minutes before that next match. It was more stressful than that?
Honestly, I think so, because back then it was all just, we didn't really have any strats. Like, there was nothing to talk about. We were just like, we stayed quiet, somehow we ended up coming back. Honestly, it was kind of fortunate that we came back, just started hitting shots. This was like I think we changed our play style like 4 times. I'm not even kidding. Like
Wow.
G2 took a timeout, came out like playing really aggressive. So we started doing more big clears and then they stopped. So we had to change back to controlling the ball. Like we did that like 4 times. And I think we finally kind of like found something at the end because we were like, yeah, this is the wave. Like we're going to do this the rest of the series, and we ended up winning. That's why it was fun, because the adjustments and stuff, like I think if we didn't make those adjustments, we would have lost.
That's crazy to think about too. When you talk about like that mindset that goes into the matches and how much you have to like think about too as well. For me, I gotta ask you, you know, coming off of that, you're obviously in the grand finals. Congratulations on the win. We have a matchup between Envy and SSG coming up. Who would you rather see in the finals?
I think playing Envy is more fun. I don't think we've beaten Space Station in a final that isn't the grid. But their playstyle is really. Chicago called it boring. I'm not gonna lie, it is a little boring. But I mean, it works pretty well when they're doing it well, so that's why it works. But I think I'd rather play Envy. I think it'd be a good way to cap off. I mean, I know it's gonna be brought up again if we play Envy. You know, kick turbo or whatever.
Yeah, what are you talking about, Garrett? I've never heard that before. I don't know.
You know, it went under the radar when it happened, but I think people are gonna discover it. But I hope we get to play Envy. I think we always have crazy series.
Yeah, well, first off, for me, I want to say congrats. That was an awesome series, and congrats to the fans because we all won getting to watch that. That was so awesome. But I got to ask a 2-part question. First off, how do you like this new format? Because it is a marathon. And second, how do you stay composed throughout the whole thing? Because you guys just looked like statues out there during the gameplay.
We're definitely a team who likes to scream when we score, and we were the first series. But after that, the last series, I literally said, I hope they put it in the video. I was like, I'm just gonna calm down, and I stopped talking as loud and stuff. We just relaxed. It's very easy to. I always said back in the day, like I think getting fatigued is a thing. Like especially season 3 Worlds when we lost the winners finals and no break, had to play lower finals. We were gassed. I think people have gotten better at playing long series now, but I honestly hope that this is like, for me personally, I think this at Worlds would be awesome. Like a whole week-long Worlds, like every day there's 2 or 3 matches. That'd be sick, because I think that was the most intense series, and I think it's the best way to find out who can make those adjustments and who can make it, make it through the marathon. I think it picks a better winner, if that makes sense. I think it's a better ending.
Yeah.
Because game 7, you're like, anything could happen. I mean, I could have won Worlds, 1 goal difference, so
yeah.
I think obviously it can come down to that again in the 3rd set, but I think it's the best format we've ever had, personally. And I also won, so I'm a little bit biased, but I enjoyed it.
That helps.
Hey, it makes a lot of sense to me. What also makes sense is letting you go get some rest. You've had a long day stressing that mind out there in those series. Thank you for giving us those series. They were great games, and congratulations on the grand finals, Garrett.
Appreciate it. Hopefully I'm in another winners interview. Yep.
We'll see you here soon then.
Yeah, appreciate it.